Hey, I'm Nate Bargatze. I'm excited to bring you some of the funniest comedians you haven't met yet, but that's about to change. We filmed this live in Nashville, Tennessee, and yes, everyone promised to behave. This is the Nateland Showcase.
Yes, hi everybody, hello, hi. Hey, thank you for being nice, I appreciate that. I'm trying to figure my life out. I gotta decide whether or not I wanna have kids. Everybody I know is having a kid. I'm losing a lot of friends to babies, and I should actually say I'm losing city friends. I'm getting my small town friends back because all their kids are now 18. People in small towns love to have kids the second they can. I think it makes sense. I think people in a small town just get bored, you know? You wake up one day and look at each other like, look, I don't know. You want to go see the trees again? Man, we already saw the trees. We counted them. We measured them. Like, well, we can make new people and show them the trees. And you do. Create tiny little people and drag them to a Walmart. One good thing about having a kid in a small town, you have space, right? You got a house and a yard, you have space. I have friends in New York that are having a baby in a studio apartment. An apartment's so small, if they get too many groceries, they have to throw a chair out. The only good thing about having a baby in a studio apartment, they can't just wander off, you know? You're not gonna lose them. Like, where's Chris? What do you mean, where's... He's in the West Wing. What do you mean, where's Chris? Our oven and shower touch. Open your eyes, you're holding him, man. I know that's one thing I don't want to do ever again. I never want to hold anybody's baby. I wish people would stop making you do that. It's your baby, stop giving it to people. It's the most delicate thing you have. People go out of their way to get you to hold their baby. People step over a glass coffee table covered in candles to hand you the most breakable thing they have. Nobody wants you to touch their phone, not one person. You reach for somebody's phone, they're like, get away from that. But their baby, they're like, here's Tim. They don't care at all. Watch his neck! They'll just throw him across the room. There's a lot of people who aren't ready to have a baby, right? So they get a dog, it's like a training baby, and they call it a fur baby. Honest to God, if you call your dog a fur baby, do not have a skin baby, because you are not taking this seriously at all. It might even be harder to have a dog at points. I had a tiny little Chihuahua, and it's horrifying. I don't know if anybody's ever watched a Chihuahua. It's scary. Walking a Chihuahua is like walking a carton of eggs. Any single thing can go wrong, you know? I had to be on the lookout for other dogs, people blowing leaves, everything. Like, I don't think people pushing strollers are worried that a hawk is gonna come out of the sky and take their baby. But I had vivid thoughts about chopping a bird out of the air. Like, not today, hawk. I just bought her that sweater, which is not something I never thought I'd be doing. I never thought I'd be buying a coat for a tiny little dog, you know? I never thought I'd be in a store like, she'd never wear green, just pushing sweaters out of the way. But you have to get clothes for a Chihuahua, because if you take a Chihuahua out in the cold without a coat, they die. They just die. And now you're a maniac dragging a dead dog down the street. People are like, what happened? What do you mean, what happened? She's supposed to be in Mexico. That's what happened. She's supposed to be on the beach with a Corona, man. It's hard to have a dog, too, over a baby, because there's a lot of apartments that say no pets. A lot of apartments that say no pets, right? And you want to get mad at a landlord as if they're just making things up, but that's people. People ruined the pets rule. Because some people out there, most people when they hear pets are like, oh yeah, a pet, like a cat or a dog. But some people hear pets, and they go, oh, python. And then one day there's a 40-foot snake roaming the halls. Because somebody doesn't know what a pet is. A pet is something that you can pet. You put your hand on its head and you pet it, you know? It's not a creature you fight with a stick back into a cage. It's not something you kick off a riverboat. It's not something that a wizard puts on a staff. It's a cute animal with fur and a face. Your pet needs a face. No scorpions, no spiders, man. What do you even do with a spider? What do you even do? Like my Chihuahua. I would go over to her and I would see that she's happy and it would make me happy. What do you see? What do you see when you look at your tarantula? What do you see? You go over to the tank to tap, tap, tap. Come on, Chad, tap, tap. When that thing looks at you with those 8, what do you see? Hell? What are you looking at here? There's so many apartments that say no pets. There's not one apartment that says no babies. Not one. And why? You have no idea what this baby's gonna be. This baby could grow into a 6'5" man that steals packages. You have no idea. You have no idea. My Chihuahua did nothing. She was 5 pounds. She sat by the window watching for hawks. She was horrified every single day of her tiny little life, you know? There's a lot of people who aren't even ready to have a dog, right? There's a lot of people who aren't even ready to have a dog. You see people out there walking their dog will stop to smell something, and they're like, come on, dog. We don't have time for you to be a dog today. That's all dogs do. They smell things. If you don't let your dog smell anything, when you see a cat going to take a nap, just kick it in the ribs. Keep it up, you know? Take your fish out of the tank and whip it into the kitchen. I gotta decide if I want to have a kid. I don't know if I'm ready. I don't think I'm ready. My mom has also called me and told me not to, which is a strange conversation to have with your mom. My mom has called me, but like, don't have kids, they ruin your life. I'm like, Mom, do you know who you're talking to right now? One of the ones that you made. My mom always talks in that way too, so I don't know how to talk to kids. Like, you know how we're supposed to talk to kids? Like, we all live in some kind of magical forest. You gotta change your whole tone. A kid walks into a room, you gotta be like, well, hello, child. How was your day? I have bills due. I don't know how to do that. My mom never talked to me like a kid. My mom talked to me like a roommate. I'd come out of my room, my mom be sitting there with a cigarette in her mouth, just like, we don't have any money. Phone's getting shut off. I'm like, I'm 4. I don't have any calls to this house. If you could sugarcoat some of this, man. It's gotta be, I don't know if I'm ready to have a kid either, because this is a dumb reason. I don't think I'm ready to have a kid because I'm not ready to be that selfless, right? As soon as the kid gets here, it's all about them. I don't think I'm ready to have a kid because I'm not ready to take a kid to a movie that I don't want to see. And you're gonna have to. Your kid's gonna be like, I wanna go to Minions, and you gotta go, oh, great. I am so excited about watching this movie about pills wearing jeans. This'll be fun. Do you want to see it in 3D so I can hate it closer to my face? Parents got to sit through a lot of stuff. My mom took me and my brother to see movies she clearly did not want to see. My mom took me and my brother to see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when we were kids. And I loved it so much, I wanted my mom to feel what I was feeling. So I remember looking over at my mom like, Mom, turtles. You got to get into this. And I'll never forget the look on her face. At the time, she's a 26-year-old woman just sitting there with her head in her hands like, what is happening in this movie right now? There's ooze turning turtles into teenagers. I wasted $40 to be here when I could have been out there finding a father for these kids. That's why I want to tell you guys I didn't have a dad. Just letting you know. Anybody else grew up without a dad? Cool. All right. Two very sad noises in the back. I grew up without a dad, and it's fine, everybody, it's fine. Some people get sad, some people are like, you know, can I tell you guys something stupid? It's only ever white people that get sad when I talk about not having a dad. I'm serious, I've lived this life my whole time. I tell white people that didn't have a dad, they're like, you didn't have a dad, but I have a dad, and you look just like me. I tell black people that didn't have a dad, they never believe me, ever. I tell black people that didn't have a dad, they're like, are you sure? Did you check the whole house, everywhere? What about that cupboard on top of the fridge? No, he was gone, man. Never came back. It seems very rough to have a kid, though, on the outside, right? It does seem very rough. You make a small person. You do everything for them. You put their shoes on, you feed them. And one day, they can grow up to tell you off. That must be an insane day as a parent. Must be insane. You're feeding them. They're like, screw you. Screw me. Do you know how many times I could have let you die? Are you serious? I could have left you in the park, in the car. There's an entire week of your life where your head can't do this. I gotta stand there. I gotta stand there and make sure you don't snap your own neck. Screw me. It must be so hard in that moment as a parent not to just want to rock this kid in the face. It must take everything in a parent not to just break the little glasses that you paid for. You bought their vision. They're gonna tell you off. That's crazy. Being told off by your own kid must be like when you go to give a homeless person change and they go, what am I gonna do with 30 cents? I feel the exact same. I don't know, I don't think I'm ready to have a kid either because I'm like still trying to figure out how to live my own life, you know? I just started eating healthy and it's hard. To eat healthy, it's very hard. You have to get organic food if you want to eat healthy. You have to. And at one point in time, organic food was just called food. Just called food. And then we modified food, and we're like, well, we can't call this modified food. So we'll call modified food, food. And food, organic food. and make it very expensive. You gotta make a real decision with yourself when you go to the grocery store. You're like, do I want the good strawberries? There's nothing wrong with them. There's no poison on them, but they're $9. Or do I want the poison-covered strawberries? That are huge, too. They're pulsating in the package. They're picking fights with bananas beside them, but they're $1.75. Well, it's been a rough month. I hope these radioactive berries don't attack me. How large do we want food to get, guys? How large? Food just keeps getting larger, and there's no taste anymore at all. You put a blueberry in your mouth today, you're like, big. There's no taste, though. It's just like a shot of water in the tonsils. How big do we want chicken to get? How big? There's some chicken breast I see that's so big, I'm like, you know what? Bring the rest of it out and put it back together. I want to see it, man. I want to see its giant head, its size 10.5 feet. Put a saddle on it, I'll ride it out of the store. That whole wall is just one big piece of chicken. We took steroids out of sports and gave them to chickens, and we don't even let them run around. Give them a baseball bat, let's see what they can do, you know? That's what I want to see in a package of chicken now. I don't want to see cage-free, farm-fed. I want to see home runs. RBIs. What did he do out there? I don't want to eat chicken in a slump. It's got to be hard. It's got to be hard to have a kid. It's got to be hard to have a kid, too, because that whole conversation, what you can grow up to be anything you want, is so different now, you know? Kids being like, can I grow up to be anything I want? And the parents got to be like, of course you can. You can be pansexual, asexual, and transsexual. Like, what about an astronaut? You know, well, that's going to be tough. You know what I think? I don't think that's even a job anymore. Nobody's going to be an astronaut ever again. Ever. Not going to happen. They did a study with a group of kids. They asked them if they would rather be astronauts or YouTubers. And you guys know what they said. They said YouTubers. And I side with these kids. Who wants to be an astronaut today, in this society? Do you know there are people out there that don't believe space is real? They don't think it's a real thing. They walk outside and they look at the sky. They're like, it's mirrors. They don't think it's real. So what's the point of becoming an astronaut? You put on a diaper, you fly to space. You almost die on that trip. Then you float around in space, change your diaper, come back, you almost die again. Then you land on Earth and you're like, I went to space. And people go, liar. What's the point? What is the point? There are no YouTube deniers, you know? There's a lot of people out there that think the Earth is flat. You know where they got that idea? YouTube! There's a lot of people in here that remember a time before 2005. Before 2005, nobody talked about the Earth being flat. Nobody. One man living in a shed, eating a Hungry Man dinner alone, said it to himself. Nobody, though. Then somebody made a video, and we all got to be like, oh, I don't know, maybe. This is why I don't think we're ever going to have nice things, because we got to stop and have these ridiculous arguments. Honestly, this is why when women are like, what about my reproductive rights? It's like, slow down, lady. We don't know what shape this is, so if you think we're at ovaries, you're crazy. This is me talking to you guys. I believe that the Earth is round. Me, dumb man. But let's just say for fun the Earth is flat. Let's say for fun the Earth is flat. Now what? You still gotta go to work. What are we doing here, man? Who cares what shape it is? Who cares if it's shaped like a hexagon? You know what's shaped like a rectangle? An eviction notice. Get a job, dude. My name's Macintosh. Thank you guys so much. Greatly appreciate you. Have a good night. Thank you.